journeying around China and the world. From rural vitalization to smart city design. From environmental protection to technological innovation. From reform and opening up to working towards a shared future. It all comes for a pursuit of a better life. We explore a path geared by high-quality growth and decode China's strategy. CGTN presents Dynamics of China, an account of an unprecedented transition for the country in the new era.
Welcome to our special series of Dynamics of China. I'm Ruixue with CGTN.
And I'm Zhou Jiaxin. We're coming to you live in central China's Wuhan, Hubei province. And in this episode, we're exploring key parts functioning the telecommunication in our modern times. And that is, as you may notice in my hand, this bunch of fibers being manufactured within this plant. And we are also going to help you understand how the Chinese scientists in generations have driven this cutting-edge technology to the next level.
Yeah, optical fibers are used to transmit information from one place to another through light, and they can allow the transmission through over longer distances and a higher bandwidth than the electrical cables. So that's why today we've got optical fiber cables everywhere on the ground or even undersea, so that we can connect our world.
So can you imagine this one optical fiber, which is about the diameter of a strand of human hair, can easily carry several million calls at the same time, and it is just the silica glass making this efficiency happen.
Yes. So today we're coming into a factory that specifically produces the optical fibers, and the reason we come here is because 40 years ago, China's first optical fibers were produced in Wuhan, and now the city has one of the world's largest research and development and production bases for optical devices.
So for a better understanding of this technology, we're now very pleased to be joined by Mr. Liu, General Manager Wuhan Fiber Home Ruixue Technology Cooperative. Welcome, Ms. Liu.
Welcome, Ms. Liu. So could you please first tell us the whole process of making one optical fiber?
Yeah, I'm glad to give a brief introduction. Firstly, we manufacture high purity optical fiber performed by chemical reaction, and then the perform is sent to a high temperature furnace and draw out of fiber.
So we know that this factory or this workshop is designed to manufacture the so-called mother rod. So, but I'm gonna leave you there, and I'm gonna go to the next workshop designed to stretch the mother rod. Okay. See you later.
See you later, Jiaxin.
Yeah.
Well, Ms. Liu, it's really hard to imagine why the light can transmit information, why such little thread of the optical fiber can transmit data and information. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, it's really magical. In fact, the information is carried on a laser that transmit in the optical fiber, and in the optical fiber that by total internal reflection, so the light transmits from one place to another in light speed.
Okay, so I heard that 95% of our world's information data have been transmitted by optical fibers, right?
Yes, you get it.
Yes, so what about the total, is that the total internal reflection? How is it made in this part of the workshop?
Yes, we allow just in VAD workshop. Here we use VAT. That's here. We can see here. That is a vertical axis deposition. So we can see that the hydrogen, oxygen, and the silicon that react in the flame, and then the nanoparticle then deposit to the target node.
Okay.
So it will control regularly. Then we get a suit rod. Then there is upper automatic robot arm to switch the suit to this high temperature furnace to finish the centering. After centering, we get a mother core rod here.
So this furnace
Yes.
is to get the final mother rod, right?
Mother, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So what's the temperature inside this furnace?
Yeah, when the soot goes into this furnace, the furnace temperature is about 1,200 to 1,600 degrees Celsius, and after about over 20 hours, the mother rod will centering like this.
Oh, this is the mother rod.
Yes.
Okay. It's not as large diameter than I thought. It's thinner, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Much smaller than the soot one.
Yes. So I think you said it's accurate. It needs to be very accurate. How can you make it through your equipment?
Yes. So you mean the equipment?
Yes. How you make it so accurate?
Oh yes. So you can see in the chamber when the reactions happen. So there is the hydrogen, oxygen, and the fluor must controlled by MFC, that's mass flow control, and also the air inside into the temperature and the pressure we are well controlled. This equipment is all designed and manufactured by ourselves.
Wow, amazing! It was really amazing to see that such accurate. It's like 3D printing, and happening inside this furnace, and you have to make it very accurate to make the mother rod. So here is our part, and we're moving to the next phase. That would be Jiaxin's phase to stretch those mother rod into the core rod, right? Okay, thank you. See you later.
Now I have arrived at the workshop to producing the core rod. From the former workshop, actually, we can get what we called the mother rod, which is here. But for a better understanding about how this mother rod being melted to the core rod, joining me here is Mr. Tian Jingchen, the manager of the Perform Manufacturing Department with Fiber Home. So we know this is from the workshop that previously we visited, right?
Yes.
So which part is the mother rod?
This is an effective mother rod. And first we need to cut the bottom and the top of the mother rod and weld the handle with them. So this is waiting for stretching.
So this part in the middle, which is thicker than the two sides, are the mother rod. But for these two parts are the handles.
Yeah.
So actually we can go over to that machine to see how this mother rod would be melted and then dropped to be stretched to the core rod, right?
Yes.
As you can see here, now it is working.
Yeah.
Could you please tell us about how this process is being done?
This process, we just using this high temperature furnace to melt the mother rod and stretch it. After this process, the mother rod's outside diameter will become thin. After this process, we will get the core rod. But each core rod have their own target value. We need to calculate the diameter by using the mother road's parameter. So after this process, we will get the core rod and will be used for OVD process.
Okay. So as you can see that the upper side is the one handle and the downside is another handle.
Yes.
But actually the lightest one in the middle is the mother rod.
Yes.
So
you're
as
right.
you said, how high could be the temperature be?
About 1,900 degrees.
Degrees Celsius.
Yes.
Okay. So, but for each mother rod, how long would it spend to be melted to the core rod?
About 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it will be stretched for 6 meter length.
Okay. So most of us would be wondering that for that mother rod, it is much thicker,
Yes.
and now, the core rod would be thinner.
Yeah.
But could you please explain us why we wanted to to melt it, to stretch it to that maybe about 40 millimeters?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Because we melt it and to stretch it just for next process for OVD. So we will melt this mother rod.
Okay. So as you can see that it is crystal, even it is the mother rod, but we know that the core rod could be much crystal. But I have a question. When it is being stretched, would be, the purity being affected?
Yes. We use this core rod to transmit a signal. So the purity is very important for a core rod.
Yes.
Sometimes you will see some normal glass in our daily life.
Yes.
But they're different.
Yes.
The purity is very different.
But they all look to me very crystal. But
Yes.
this is even crystal. So it is a pure, right?
Yes.
It is
For example, a signal transmitter in the normal glass is only transmitted maybe 10 meters. But in the core rod, it will transmit for 100 kilometers. So they're different.
So at the same time, we see that there is the twist of the machine. Why it is twisting this in a kind of a slow speed? Why?
Just to keep the mother rod's verticality.
Oh, and then we see that because we wanted to make sure that the diameter would be the same.
Yes.
Is that still,
Yeah.
working
No,
on
no
that?
effect.
Okay. Okay. So if you move a little bit here, we are not going to show you the core rod, but actually this is really attractive to us because you can see this is not the mother rod,
Yes.
either the core rod. This is the kind of product we are going to see in the next workshop.
Yes.
But this is very crystal for me actually.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, for this kind of purity, it could be used as jewelry or diamond things. But do you produce any byproduct of this in your factory?
Sometimes we will not do this because it's very expensive. But sometimes the product will have some detectives and some inferior.
Yes.
So we will use it to make something other.
So Ruixue and Mr. Liu will just introduce us more about how this, we call this suit, right?
Yes.
Suit rod
Yeah.
to be produced. But actually after that, as you mentioned, about 6 hours.
Yes.
For each mother rod, we will get the core rod, which we can see here. If we get our cameraman just a little bit closer to this one, so if you can show this, this is the core, right?
Yeah.
So this is about the diameter about 40 or 40 millimeters or
40 millimeters.
So, and this will be carried to the next workshop, right?
Yes.
Okay. So as we mentioned, that there could be the possibility of producing some inferior product. How will you deal with this inferior products?
Have no way to deal with them, just to crush them, and sometimes we use it to make some other things.
Yes. As we can see here, so sometimes we have those inferior products from that. What could be the cause, by the way? What could be the cause that we have those kind of inferior product?
crash them.
No, I mean, what could be the cause? What's the problem with the system so that we have this kind of inferior products? Of course, for our audiences, this is a kind of reminder, this is not the inferior one. But we have the possibility, we have the chance to have inferior products. But what could be the cause that we still have those inferior products?
Actually, it's hard to see in this workshop. Our technology is advanced.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to see the inferior product. But we cannot avoid. Sometimes we have a mistake. We will produce some.
Yes, as you mentioned, we can have some really good quality, products like this one.
Yeah.
I think I can tell this is different from the outer diameter. This is the core, right?
Yeah, this is the core. You can
So maybe after hours, this core rod could be stretched again, right?
Yeah.
To this one, as you can see. But this one is the cladding.
Yeah,
cladding rod. So this is now a fine art on which that you can see the landmark landing of Wuhan, the yellow crane tower. We also have some poems on that. So what kind of products or kind of art pieces that you would produce other than that?
We use the OVD perform.
Other than this kind of art pieces, what kind of beautiful things that we can craft out of this core rod? If no, but what kind of idea that what kind of other idea that we have to create those? You have no idea. Okay, no problem. But this is the part. This is the whole process of melting the mother rod to the core rod, which is really significant in the whole process, right?
Yes, it's very important.
And then later on, I think we'll give Ruixue time because they are now ready to show us. We call them the OVD. Okay, no problem. It's complete. But they will just give us a more introduction about how this rod will be produced.
Hello everyone, we're still in a special series of Dynamics of China. I'm Ruixue with CGTN, and this is Ms. Liu Zhijian from Fiber Home Ruixue Cooperative. Welcome, Mr. Liu. So we're now in another workshop now, and I see plenty of stoves here. So what are those stoves for? And could you please explain to us what's the process of this phase?
Yeah, this stove is for the process OVD, that's called offset vapor deposition. This is to make the clad part of the perform.
Okay, so can I take a look?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so this is the furnace, not the stove, right? Wow. Wow, I see plenty of nozzles inside, like 12 nozzles, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the temperature inside? It must be very high there.
Now, the temperature of the flame is about 800 degrees Celsius.
Then how long will it take to finish the whole process of the vapor deposition?
Yeah, it's about over 10 hours to 20 hours.
Okay.
Yes.
What about the emission here? What gas do we use here? Is the emission environmentally friendly?
Now, so what you see in the flame is hydrogen, oxygen, and silicon inside to complete the chemical reactions. So in the flame during the deposition, and the hydrogen is the waste gas from the nearby factory in this industry park, and we use organic silicon. And so our discharges is only only water and other harmless substance.
So is it completely green, right?
Yes, it's
okay.
completely green. Yes.
So it's really great to see the recycle of the waste gas, and yes, it's great to see that. So, is that the raw that is done after 12 hours of vapor deposition?
Yes, this is, we call it soot, just after the OVD deposition.
Okay, so it's not the final work.
Yes, not the final. Please work along with me to see how the final will perform.
Okay, so Ms. Liu, you're doing a very incredible things here, and I'm really amazed by all the manufacturing techniques and equipments here. So, were they all introduced by foreign countries, or you made it on your own?
Yeah, the key technology of perform have been owned to foreign countries for a long time. They are not willing to sell us at all. So we have spent over nearly 10 years old to develop ourselves. So every time when I see this produced from, I feel much like seeing my old child being born.
I can completely understand. And this is the final preform. I can see it's very, very transparent. Much more transparent than the usual glass. Why is it that?
Yeah, you're right. The high transparency is because the purity is very high. The impurity of this perform is less than 1 per million.
Wow.
Yeah, so this issue the high quality of the fiber.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Liu. And my colleague told me that Jiaxin has already arrived at the top floor of the drawing tower, and the next step will be drawing those optical fibers into join the preforms into the optical fibers. So the next time will be his, and we'll get back to you later on.
Now I've arrived near the hottest spot of the whole production line, where, as you can see, the preforms vertically installed up here with the melting temperature up to 2000 degrees Celsius or 1100 degrees Fahrenheit is being pulled to the optical fiber beneath. And we're definitely going to show you the physical change downstairs soon. But for a better understanding of the whole process, joining me here is Mr. Tianjin Chen, manager of the Perform Manufacturer Department with Fiber Home. So welcome to our show. And we do know that there are some glassware in our daily lives, such as cup and wine decanter. But what's the major difference of pulling this silicon rod to the thin optical fiber from those?
Okay, the biggest difference is the precision control, particularly in fiber's diameter, such as uniformity, accuracy. These requirements are very high, and they must be controlled within 1 micrometer. When the fiber is moving downward and be melted and dropped, the speed of drawing this preform is key to the diameter. So, better uniformity of the fiber's diameter, better quality of communication signals.
So inside this booth is the dropping fiber at a really high speed. If you get closer look, you may see this is operating at a really high fast. So we know this is all under a mechanical control.
Yes.
But how to make sure that this dropping fiber will not be distorted under any circumstances?
First of all, once the fiber is pulled out, it's being protected in this clean cabinet, and that's to keep away from dust and any touching by accident. Secondly, the verticality of this whole equipment is very strict controlled, and that way we can make sure the fiber can pass through the safety channel. And finally, once joined, the tension in the fiber is also strictly controlled, that we can make sure the fiber cannot be break. By the way, you cannot see the depth of the tower, about 20 meters underground. So it's guaranteeing the tower is very stable during operation.
So to draw such a fine fiber would be a different story. 40 years ago when Chinese scientists started with the most basic materials, but they have made great strides. Let's take a look.
The optical fiber communication was unknown in China until Jiaxin and his team successfully pulled the country's first strand in a Wuhan lab in 1976. The technological breakthrough was quickly used to make the telephone cables nationwide, becoming the foundation for China's optoelectronic information industry. Over decades, Zhou students have relayed the revolutionary endeavor and advanced China's industrial competence. Preform, the raw material for optical fibers, once relied heavily on imports from the US and Japan even up until 2010. Now the share of China's optical fibers and preforms top the global market with more than 70%. The birthplace of China's first practical optical fiber in Wuhan, known as Optics Valley, is now the world's largest production base of optical fiber and optical cable. Leading manufacturers in the valley like FiberHome have also set technical specifications and world-class quality standards. The company's accommodation workstation, joined by Zhou, is looking at young talents, green economy, and future technological innovations. China should keep competing, Zhou said, urging his colleagues to update new materials and processes. The 90-year-old said he has been very fulfilled, not by being the father of optical fibers, but by serving the people and society all his life.
Standing by the furnace, we're actually on the 8th floor, but I'm wondering, Ms. Tan, why does the fiber drawing process requires this kind of height?
As we mentioned just now, the working temperature of this furnace is very high. The temperature is over 2000 degrees. So when the fiber is coming out from the furnace, it will have the same temperature, which is very hot. So we have designed this high tower to make sure that the fiber can be cooled to the room temperature. The following processes can be carried out normally. We use this self-designed high tower up to 30 minutes. The speed of drawing fiber is the fastest in the world. It can reach the 210 kilometers per hour.
Oh, that's so impressive. But can we expecting an even higher speed?
Yes, of course. We are designing a new high tower up to 40 minutes to get faster speed.
Impressive. So now we're going to go downstairs to meet Ruixue, where they are now seeing the machine receiving this fiber. See you in a minute.
Here we are. So the optical fibers have traveled for more than 40 meters long and come all the way from here. Then the root takes them up into that little booth. So, Ms. Liu, could you please explain it to us? What is doing there?
Yeah, it's take off. It's the last step of drawing process.
Okay, last step.
The fiber looks static.
Yes, it's quite still there.
Yeah, but actually it runs at very high speed. It goes into this small booth so that the static electricity can be removed, and then the fiber can well collected.
Okay, so will be later collected in that place. Oh, Jiaxin, you're
Yeah,
here.
hi, Ruixue. Hi,
How was
Liu.
your trip up
Well,
there?
I can still feel, the heat on my face from that hot melting side. But watching that thick silicon rod being pulled to this thin optical fiber was really amazing. So I'm wondering, Mr. Liu, how long would the optical fiber each perform would produce?
No, the largest perform we have made here can produce 10,000 kilometers fiber. The fiber drawn by 4 perform can go around the Earth. Now, every 10 kilometer fiber that used in the world, there is about 7 kilometer fiber that are produced from China.
Good result.
And FiberHome optical fiber cable export has ranked the first in China over the past decade.
Wow, Ms. Liu, your company has achieved a complete self-reliance in the optical fiber industrial chain, and I believe they have helped make some other related breakthroughs and innovations, right?
Yeah, that's right. And now our one new optical fiber can allow for simultaneous phone calls by 13 billion people. Fiber homes, mobile optical cable have been applied to China's faster telescope. Yeah, 4 years before, President Xi Jinping visited fiber home. He urged us to tackle scientific and technological problems. We showed abundant density and rely on ourselves. We have kept these goals in mind and kept developing our products independently.
You referred to Xi's visit to fiber home years ago. When the president went to Wuhan this June, again he stressed that keeping the lifeline of science and technology firmly in China's own hands and making the countries develop more independent, self-reliant, and secure. And that is a stronger message saying that the second largest economy now is in a more need than ever of advanced technologies regarding the new economic growth and the international competition. So thanks so much for the talk, Ms. Liu. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Liu.
Thank you.
Well, Jiaxin,
Yeah?
I believe both of us have had a great experience here, learning about how challenging it was.
Indeed.
Yes, how challenging it was decades ago to pull the first strand of the optical fiber. And we've been always lucky to have witnessed China's first, for example, China's first bullet train, China's first space like Tiangong, and China's first homegrown large jetliner. So such kind of first, the first place goes on. So innovation is the key to all those breakthroughs, right?
And we can have reasons to expect more high-tech elements benefiting our lives in the future.
Yes. So this is all for today's episode, and please stay tuned for our special series of Dynamics of China.
Stay tuned.